Sometimes the hardest part of surrender isn't the letting go. It's staying in the flow once you have and not falling back into the old habits and patterns that we already know don't serve us and they keep us from the life that we truly deserve. So that's going to be our focus today is how can we stay in surrender and fully break free from what's been holding us back? So, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm Jennifer Halliburton with the Awakened Gen Tarot, and I'm one of the hosts of The Spiritual View. The Spiritual View is a collective of 7 spiritually gifted women who are merging our magic together using a range of modalities to bring messages of guidance for the collective. We are building a thriving community, and we are so glad to have you a part of us. So, if you would like to join us, we have daily videos from each of the readers on the channel. And then we also offer lives on Mondays at 10 a.m. Eastern and Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern, where we bring the group together to have a collective conversation. And then we pull cards for the viewers. And if that's something that sounds good to you, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so that you don't miss out on all the things that we have on offer. All right, so before we get started, I want us to take 3 deep breaths together, and then we're going to do the invocation to call on the spirit team. So if you will close your eyes and breathe in. That's 1. Breathe in. That's 2. Breathe in. That's 3. I now call in my angels, archangels, ascended masters, my higher self and guardian angels to please enter this present space and time. I call upon Archangel Michael to place a bubble of protection around us. Only beings of the highest vibration of pure love and light may enter in. So be it. All right, so for this Tuesday tune-up, we are focusing on living fully in the space of surrender, maintaining trust in the unknown, and avoiding old habits. We are aligning with our destiny and continuing to move forward with intention and grace. And so we've just gotten through that full moon energy, and full moons are about release. And so release is that ultimate surrender. So you're surrendering something that no longer serves you so that you can make space for something that is more aligned with you and more meant for you. And the surrender process itself can be excruciating, but once you've done it, now, how do you stay in that space? How do you not keep falling back into these old habits that are going to keep you tied to something that is no longer meant for your path? This thing does not get you to where you want to be. So we've got to make sure that we make that surrender stick so that we can now know that we're moving forward confidently towards those things that are actually meant for us. And I think, the first thing that we really do need to address is that just because something no longer serves you doesn't mean that it never served you. And so you can have gratitude for the thing that you are releasing. You can have all of the good feelings, all the good emotions, but you can also be honest about where it's at today. It had purpose for you here. It was 3:33 on the clock. It had purpose for you here. But right now, it's just being like a ball and chain, keeping you from being able to move forward on your path. It's no longer aligned. And you need to also understand that it serves its purpose better. And even if this is a person, it serves its purpose better in other places because it's not serving you. So it's not even where it needs to be either. And so, like, you still choosing to hold on to it is preventing both you, this person, or this object, or this job, or whatever we're talking about that we're surrendering from being where it's actually meant to be too. All right, so we're going to be using several different decks for this reading. We're going to use the Ancient Stones Oracle, the Animal Gods Tarot, the Infinite Wisdom of the Chakras, and then I always close it out with the Art of Manifestation Oracle. All right, so we're going to pull my second screen up. Okay, so we're going to be starting with the Ancient Stones Oracle. And so the first question that I am going to be asking is the foundation of surrender. What is the foundational energy of living in surrender? So this card sets the tone for the reading, and it reflects the core energy and wisdom supporting why you chose to surrender in the first place. So, what is the foundational energy for living in surrender? Okay. What is our foundational energy for living in surrender? So, we have the egg stone. This is feminine power, embodiment, fertility. So the feminine power, the egg stone, and that egg energy is still being quite loud. We were talking about that on the spiritual view on Friday. So the egg stone. Where are we at? That is page 76. Feminine power, embodiment, fertility. Within the grounds of Glastonbury Abbey in southwest England, a large ancient stone is hiding in plain sight. The locals refer to it as the egg stone. Legend says that women would sit on the stone during menstruation, a time when they were at their most powerful and intuitive, to both give and receive feminine power. Pilgrims to this day visit the egg stone, honoring it as a symbol of an era when the feminine was deeply respected and revered. And so the egg stone card is a symbol of all of these things: feminine power, unapologetic embodiment, and fertility. The egg stone urges us to honor the feminine in ourselves and in others, no matter how we identify. It urges us to not waste time being distracted by the noise of patriarchy and instead confidently lead the way in protecting the feminine within us, within others, and within the earth. This card is of great feminine leadership, of respecting the feminine nature of life, which means respecting and protecting life in general. It can also be a sign of birth, both physically and metaphorically, in the form of a child or some sort of creation. The ancient stone's activation: I honor the feminine power in myself. I honor the feminine power in all of those around me. I'm ready to play my part in protecting the rising feminine of the earth. And so the foundation of surrender is because we are rising out of that old system of the patriarchal structure where we're just doing things just because this is the way that we were told to do it. Now that we're living in a more creative space and we're really allowing ourselves to be in the flow of what feels good, and like if that doesn't feel good, we're moving towards something that feels better for us. And so we're not going to stay stuck just because that's the way that it was always done. We're actually honoring those parts of us, the creative parts of us. We're honoring those parts of us that really does trust our intuitive nature of knowing what does need to happen and what doesn't need to happen. And I'm just getting like the whole birthing, we are birthing in a whole new life, and it's our whole new understanding of the direction that we need to go. So, I mean, that's the foundation. It's just like this rise in the feminine, it's 12:12 on the clock. This rise of the feminine is causing us to really want to expand ourselves in this creative way where we've been restricted for so long by the whole patriarchal system. And so I think that that's the thing. That's the reason why the release happened, is because it was too restrictive. It was too top down, it was too control, it was too power, there was just too much domination. It wasn't giving us enough self-expression to be able to really fully express ourselves in the world. And so I think that that's the key of whatever the surrender is that piece right there that I just said. So no matter if it's a person, it's a job, it's just anything that you have felt like you needed to give up because it was way too constricting. You weren't able to be your fullest expression of yourself. It like dimmed your creative energy. It just like kept you in a like almost like I'm coming back to the rat race, because that's the patriarchal energy that I'm feeling, is just like we're just doing things just because this is the way it's always been done. And we're not really putting the thought as to why we're doing it, Is it beneficial for us? Is it something we still want to do? It's just the standard that had been set. And so we're creating a whole new standard just because we feel too restricted in ourselves and we don't want to live in that restricted state. Okay, so the next card I am pulling with the Animal Guide Tarot. So the Animal Guide Tarot, let's see, we have our current journey and surrender. What energy surrounds your journey in the space of surrender? This reveals the dynamics at play as you navigate the new phases and highlighting growth and movement. So, what energy surrounds your journey in the space of surrender? All right, let's see. We have the Nine of Swords, which is the Nine of Air in this. And it is our worry, it's our stress, it's our fear. Your worries and fears aren't real. They're fueled by focusing on the negative, which gives power to that which you're afraid of. Stop worrying, let go of the fear. Everything will be okay. And so that, just as you've even thought about, you may have already released or you're getting ready to release. It's the fear that is the thing that is like you're feeling the most right now. And fear is, how does that, is it facts? No, false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. So these are, you're making up the stories because it hasn't happened yet. You're telling yourself, you're getting too ahead of yourself into the future about what might happen. You're telling yourself stories about what might happen. And the stories you're telling yourself are probably scaring you half to death. And it's keeping you from being able to really stay, committed to the decision that you've already made to either already release or to actually do the releasing. But the fear is the false evidence appearing real. So we're not going to feed into the fear. We're going to feed into the faith. We're going to hold into the faith of what it is that we're wanting to get, what we're wanting to create, where we're wanting to go, what we're wanting to build. And that's the one that we're going to feed into. And so I'm almost coming back to the moon card where it has, those two, a wolf and a dog on it. And so one of them represents the fear and one of them represents the faith. And which one are you feeding into the most is the one that's going to win. And so we're feeding into our faith. Right here, this says that we're actually focused on our fears. So we've got to shift that. We've got to be able to get out of this space of anxiety, stress, the what ifs of the future, and just own, this is what decision I'm making right now. And I will be capable of handling whatever comes my way. We're going to take it one step at a time, and just, we don't have to have all the answers right now. We just have to have the willingness to keep moving forward, even in the uncertainty, and knowing that when it comes to us, we have been prepared. We will have the answer. We will have the support. We will have the guidance that we need. So we don't have to worry about this. We don't have to have the fear about this, although that's the thing that we're carrying with us. So the old habits that we need to watch out for, what old patterns or habits might challenge your progress? We have the Two of Swords. And so the Two of Swords is that battle between the head and the heart. Your head thinks that things should go one way and your heart says something else. And so there's a logic thing that's getting in the way. It's the left brain that's getting in the way, that's keeping you out of that creative energy. And that's coming back to, okay, so the left brain is the masculine side. And so that masculine energy is still very overpowering of saying what it thinks that we're supposed to be doing and how we're supposed to be showing up. But yet your intuition really does know. Your heart is connected to your intuition, really does know what it is that's actually meant for you. And so on this card, it says procrastination and worrying about what others will think are blocking you from making a decision. If you're torn between your own desires and someone else's, follow your own inner guidance. So we are only responsible for ourselves. We're only responsible for the choices that are going to impact us directly, because a lot of times we give our power away in those very choices by, we will do what we think is best for somebody else because we're not trying to hurt them. We're not trying to, I think it just comes to that we're not trying to hurt them. We don't have bad intentions towards them, but yet we know that if we make this certain choice right here, it is possibly going to have a negative impact on them. You've got to look at, what were your motives? Were you trying to hurt that person? No, it's a consequence. It's an unintended consequence, but it is a consequence of just, this choice. But they are going to have to do something with that. What happens to them is on them. It's not on you. Okay, maintaining the balance. So how can you stay balanced and aligned in this surrendered state? So this provides guidance on staying grounded and present while trusting the journey that's unfolding. So how can you stay balanced? We have the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is, you've got to get like just realistic about what you're really dealing with. So again, you may be just the nostalgia, just overinflating the value of what this thing is now. So I'm coming back to, just because it no longer serves you doesn't mean that it never served you. But this thing right here is not serving you anymore. So you've got to get just really, really clear about, this is the reality of this situation right now. I have taken this as far as I can possibly take it, and I've gotten, the most out of it that I can get. So this card is really about, it's just acceptance. It's accepting that the life that you had dreamed of with this particular person, place, thing is not going to come to fruition. It's not the way that you thought it was going to be. There's just, things change. You have more information now. You know that it's not even what you want anymore. And just that acceptance of that. And so it says, focus on the fact that Source loves you and always has the highest intentions for you. A positive outlook makes it easy to recover from life's little difficulties so that you can move onward and upward. And so, I mean, it's just radical acceptance about where you're at, and just, we're not sugarcoating it anymore. We're not, there's a word that is eluding me right now about this card, about like what we're trying to do. It's like we're just trying to rewrite the story of, here's where it was. Like, and again, I'm coming back to, it did serve us very well at one point, and that's what we're just kind of hanging on to the most, is when it did serve us so well. But we're not looking at, well, how is it impacting us right now? Right now, it's not serving us. Right now, it's holding us back. Right now, it's making us feel just constricted, and we're not able to fully be our fullest version of ourselves. And so that's why we do have to let this thing go. We have to see that it's not ever going to come back to this place where it was actually beneficial for us anymore. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Overcoming the blocks. So what is the key to overcoming any of the blocks to fully embracing this space of surrender? So this card is going to offer us insight into an energetic or emotional shift that needs to happen to move through this area of resistance. And so we have the Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles, I love this card because this is representative of my Fred. Fred he was my dog that I now see as one of my spirit guides, and he was a little miniature poodle. So, and he was like the same color of this too. So Fred showed up. So the Three of Pentacles is about collaborations. It's about using the best qualities in each person to build something better than what you could do on your own. Let's see what it says on this card. Your most satisfying and profitable career comes from following your passions, listening to your heart, and doing what brings you joy. Your life's purpose is best fulfilled by allowing your talents and true self to shine forth out into the world. And so what I guess I'm getting out of this is like, you have all of these natural gifts and talents that you are meant to be shining out into the world. Where you're at now, you're not able to shine it. Where you're at now, it's too constricted. You're not able to really put it out there. And I'm going to say, like, my biggest like expression of this, I would say, is when I was in my marriage. There's literally no way while I was still in my marriage I could have ever done anything that I'm doing right now. There's just no way he would have ever allowed me to shine in the way that I'm shining now. It's one, he had different beliefs and opinions about all of this, so he would not have allowed this. But then he also had a different preference for the way that he wanted his own life to work. And so in his world, he was the one who went out and made the money. He's the one who like built the foundation. And the woman was the one who stayed home, took care of the kids, took care of the house, and took care of him. That was his ideal life. There's literally nothing wrong if that's your ideal life, unless the person that you're trying to get to do that for you, that's not their ideal life. That's not what they want to do with their life. And so you can see where the misalignment would come in is once I realize, oh, wait, that's not who I want to be or how I want to show up for my own life. That feels like slavehood at some point, for me to be able to have to only do that, but I'm not able to really do the things that are expanding me, that are meant, just they're about me. And so that's what I'm saying. The parts of me that are about to shine. So that was, I got to live in his world, but I didn't get to have my own world, if that makes sense. I mean, I think that's coming back to that patriarchal thing to me too, is just how constricted that was. It was like, it was his life that we were all building. It was his life that we were supporting. And my own preference did not actually matter because it had to line up with what his version of the reality was. And so it was too constricting. I couldn't be fully myself. I couldn't offer the gifts that I was actually meant to be offering to this world inside of that space. And so I had to release it. I had to surrender it in order for me to be able to break out of the constriction and really put my fullest expression of myself out there. Okay. So I'm going to close it out with the Art of Manifestation Oracle. So what blessings or outcomes are manifesting as we live in the surrender? And how can we stay in this state of surrender? We have believe in yourself. You are important. And so, especially if you've been in a space that didn't allow you to really be you, you may not even know who you are. And so that's one of the things that I remember kind of big after my divorce. And I'm going to say my divorce was right at 6 years ago, because it was 12/13/2018. So, I mean, like, we're literally just right at 6 years from when that happened. And in that space, I didn't even know what I liked. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what talents I had. It was all about him. And so once I was able to spend time for myself, that's when I started seeing, like, oh, wait, I actually like doing this. This is something I want to learn about. This is something I want to get into. And I had the space to be able to do it, because if I had said that before, there's no way he would have given me the space to be able to do it. It was too constricting. But now that I didn't have to answer to that, I was only answering to me. And now that I could really see what all I had within me, what all I had that I wanted to be able to share in this world. And so this says, believe in yourself. You are important. You are important. You are lovable. You are special. You are a unique and extraordinary person. Wherever you've come from, whatever has happened to you in the past, it's time to let go of any negative perceptions that you may carry about yourself. And so I know a lot of times, if we've been in particularly toxic connections, they will tell us a lot about ourselves that are not true, but we'll take it on as though it is. And so I think that part of the surrender, you're going to have to spend a lot of time with yourself, really learning, what is this new version of yourself look like? What does this new version of yourself like to do? What does this new version of yourself you want to do? So, I mean, you're going to spend a lot of time with yourself to really start seeing this whole new side of you that has been so far hidden within you. It couldn't come out. It couldn't be seen. It was too constricted in the place that it was in. And so now then it has the space to come out and expand and really be seen. And you don't have to take it all on. You get to explore yourself. And I think that's going to be the joy that you're going to have in all of this. It's just, where does this go? It doesn't have to have a full end result in place. We can just kind of see. We can be just almost like it's that childlike energy again of just seeing what's fun, just having fun again, just seeing what feels good again. Because when you're living in this top-down structure where you've got someone telling you, this is how you have to live, this is how you have to think, and this is how you have to be, you don't even spend the time to know these things about yourself. And so I think we're going to put focus back on ourselves. We're going to start getting to know ourselves, and we're going to know like what it is that actually lights us up. We're going to know what we're good at. We're going to know what we don't like. We're going to get just so clear about that, and we're going to become our fullest expressions of ourselves. And that's going to attract in the exact right people for us that are going to appreciate us for that fullest expression of ourselves, so that they will support it and you don't have to restrict it. They're going to expand that energy because they see it and they value it and they want you to, really grow in that space. All right, so I'm going to close it out there. Hopefully you have found value in this video. And if you did, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel. You can hit the bell for notifications and it will let you know every time we post a new video. Be sure to check out the other videos on this channel. We have a lot of great information. We have a lot of great readers and talent on this team. So be sure to be utilizing that because it's free. So, all right, until next time, I hope you guys have a great week and I'll see you then. Bye.